Okay, this morning we have the privilege of having Kendall sharing a message with us about the story of the Good Samaritan. Thanks very much, Kendall.
Hi all, like Jackie said, I'm Kendall. For those of you who don't know me, or they go, oh, why is she giving the message? Haven't seen her around a lot. I go to the Salt Factory service typically. I've been coming to church here for a little over 5 years, but I'm typically at the Salt Factory service, so that's, yeah. A bit of background on me. I am just about to go into Year 12 at Endeavour College. I just did my Cert 3 in Christian Ministry and Theology. I have a lovely family, most of which are here today. So that's a overall background on me. So today, I'm going to be talking to you about the Good Samaritan. But I'm going to be offering two different perspectives. So who here has seen the movie Frozen, the animated kids movie? Okay, so not heaps of us, which is fine. So I'm going to give a basic plot synopsis for those of you who haven't seen it. It's a kids movie, it's animated. If you have any young children in your life, they could probably talk about it for hours and hours on end. It was very popular a while back. But to give some background information, they're in this town called Arendelle. It's this big town, lovely, but the princess, so the person that's going to inherit the throne, has these ice powers, magical ice powers. And when she's really young, she's playing with her sister, who's called Anna. And they're playing together, and she hurts her sister. And so her family takes them off to these trolls to fix the ice injury that she's given to her sister. And so Elsa is the ice lady, Anna's the sister. And so when they come back and Anna's had the injury, they trap Elsa away in a room. They're like, we don't want you to associate with your sister. You've caused some damage. And Elsa's like, that's fine. Parents go off on this massive voyage, and they die their ship sinks, basically. And so Elsa has to inherit the throne. And so Elsa inherits the throne when she turns 21. And that's the first time Elsa and Anna have seen each other for years and years, is on the coronation of Elsa. And Anna's like, I'm going to get married to this guy that I met today. And she goes up to Elsa and she asks for her blessing, and Elsa goes, no, that's not happening. And Anna's like, well, that's a bit of an overreaction. We haven't talked for 8 years. Let me marry this guy that I just met, right? Which seems a bit drastic. But anyway, so Elsa flips out, and she unleashes her ice powers, which people weren't super aware of. And then she runs off into the mountain, and she builds this massive ice castle and stuff like that. It's a really cool scene. But then Anna realizes that she's messed up. She's hurt her sister. Her sister's a little bit angry at her, and so Anna goes off on this big adventure to go and find her sister. But her sister is up on the top of this hill, and Anna has no way to get to the top of that hill. And so she stops at this little tavern to find some food and some winter clothes during the night, and she runs into this guy called Christoph. And Christoph's this big ice dude. He sells ice, basically. And he doesn't have much of a family, but he does have a job going around and selling bricks of ice to this country. And he decides to throw all the ice out the window, decides not to do his job that week, and he takes Anna up the mountain on this big extravagant adventure to go and see his sister. And their sleigh gets set on fire, and they get attacked by wolves. And so then they have to walk up this mountain by foot, and it's all drastic, and they're walking up this big hill. And so they get to the top of the hill, and Anna goes to see her sister Elsa. She's like, I'm going to fix what I've done to Elsa. And they get to the top, and Elsa shoots her ice powers out at Anna on accident and gets her heart. And so now Anna has a frozen heart. And Christoph goes, oh, I have this family. They're the troll people. And so she takes them off to the troll people. And the troll people who fixed Anna beforehand fix her once again. And so Christoph goes out of his way and takes her on this massive journey. So that's a basic plot synopsis of Frozen. The character that's most important to this message is Christoph. So we can see ourselves as a Christoph in other people's lives. Christoph was an outcast, and he didn't have family, but he had an agenda, he had a priority, he had a job to fulfill, and he That was something that he had to go out and do. And he took the time out of his schedule to go and help Anna. And someone that he'd never met just took the time out of his day to go and help her. Imagine if you're a nurse and you had heart surgery to do, and this little patient comes in and goes, I've stubbed my toe. And you go, I'll help you fix your stubbed toe before I go and do my heart surgery. It's a little bit of a different situation, but similar kind of vibe. But he takes this choice and he chooses to go and help someone that he's never met. We can be like that in other people's lives. We can take the time out of our busy days to go and meet these people that we've never met before at whatever point they're at and help them. Let me flip my page. So when we're Christophs in people's lives, we can notice people's struggles and we can go out of our way to help our enemies. But it doesn't have to be drastic. We don't have to climb up a mountain with someone so that they can fix their issue that they have with their sister. We can hold a door open for them. We can take care of them when they're sick, like the story says. But Jesus can also be a Christoph in our lives. So Anna's sister ran away. Anna was in help. She needed help and she needed someone to guide her on her journey. And Christoph came and met Anna at one of her lowest points and took the time out to take her on this scary journey, and she looked out for him the whole way. And Jesus can do that in our lives. So Jesus comes to be our Christoph. He meets us where we are, and he sees our helps, and he sees and helps us, and he makes sacrifices to help us kind of come. So flipping back to the whole we're Christoph in people's lives. In John 15 verse 12, it says, "My commandment is this, love each other as I have loved you." So this kind of shows how God presents his love to us. He comes and he meets us and he gives us all the love that he can. And he made sacrifices and he died on the cross for our sins and stuff like that. But we also have another verse, and this is in 1 John 2 verse 4 to 6, and it says, "Whoever says, 'I know him,' but does not know what to do, but does not do what he commands, is a liar. And the truth is not in that person. But if anyone obeys his word, love for God is truly made complete in them. This is how we know we are in him. Whoever claims to live in him must live as Jesus did." So this is kind of explaining to us that to show love to others and to be a Christoph in someone's life, we need to reflect what's displayed in the Bible. In Psalm 86 verse 15, it says, "But you, Lord, are compassionate and gracious God, slow to anger, abounding in love and faithfulness." So as it says in 1 John, we can be that in other people's lives. So yes, God comes into our life and he's compassionate and he's gracious, but we can be compassionate and gracious and faithful in other people's lives. When God comes to us as our Christoph, and he comes to us and he meets us at our low points or our high points, he walks with us. And he gives us this verse in Isaiah 41 verse 10, which says, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." That verse is something that I've read a lot in my life because it outlines 4 promises. It gives us the 4 promises that we should not fear, we should not be dismayed, because God will strengthen us and God will uphold us. But it also gives us 4 strengths, and there's many different Bible verses that we can use to kind of help us with our strength. But those 4 for me are a really big thing, because I know when I struggle that God is with me when I fear, and God is with me when I'm dismayed, and he will strengthen me and uphold me. So, I drew a picture. Now, please don't judge. I did not get the arty gene in my family, but let me open it. This is my picture of me. I don't know if you can see that at the back, but I've drawn me in the middle with all my curly hair, and I've written around the outside some things that I struggle with. They're all in black. So I have anxiety, insecurity, fear, pain, and sickness. They're all things I've struggled with over my life. And in purple, I've written some things that I kind of pride myself in. So I have patience, strength, love, passion, and dedication. And so what we can do is we can hand those things over to God. We can hand over all that we have in our lives, and we can hand that over to God. And God takes that and he puts it in his pocket. It would be a lot more convenient if I had a blazer on, because then I could put it closer to my heart. But God carries that with us, and it weighs on his heart. And every time he puts his hand in his pocket, he thinks of us, and he remembers that those are the things that we've handed us for, and he can bless us with that, and he can meet us at that point. And so with that, there's the whole point of, the more we hand over to God, the more he can get to know us. But the point I want to make is we can make a difference in people's lives by little acts of kindness, but Jesus can also make that in our life. Jesus goes out of his way to meet us where we are and help us and make sacrifices. And just like the Good Samaritan, he comes and he gives us the things that we need in order to pull ourselves out of the pit that we might be in, or to climb to the top of the mountain, or to achieve everything that we need to in life. So we're held by Jesus, and he carries us with him where he goes, and we can just let go of everything that we have. And we can remember that when we're down in this life, or when we're up in our highs and lows, that Jesus is with us and he's carrying every single thing that we have. So, the biggest thing I wanted to outline is that we can be our Christoph in someone else's life, and so can God be in our life. I want you to go away from today and think about what you let God see. Think about the things that you hand over to God, and aspects of your life that you might hand over all of God to, and how you might hand over all to God, and how those things in your life that are fully devoted to God, he is so much more prominent in and are so much more powerful than the little areas that we might not think to hand over to God. So I ask you today to go away and think about how you can hand over more of your life to God, and how you can see the difference. But I also ask you to think about how you can be a Christoph in someone else's life, whether that's a small act of kindness, like holding a door open for someone, or saying good morning to someone. Think about how you can reflect the love that God shows in the Bible in your life, and how that can impact other people. Thanks.
Thanks so much, Kendall. And now we have the opportunity to reflect on